know you are just joining us. Cuttino and I were talking off the camera, so that's why we're on a bit late. But I just wanted to pick up where we left off. And yes, this is a show. Yes, I want to invite, Cuttino on and really just thank him for his time, for being here. He has a lot of wisdom and wealth from his playing days, but even more than that. Him and I hopped on the phone it was yesterday we hopped on the phone or the day before. And even when I was playing, this is several years ago, I would see your stuff online. I would see the videos of you in pickup, talking to players, talking to young guys, really putting them on game, checking them, to be quite honest with you. And I think you carry that type of personality where not everybody is maybe a fan of it because you step on toes, but every team needs a guy like that who is going to step on toes. So I just want to give you your flowers in the beginning, man. That's something I noticed in your content and just what it is that you stand for. And getting to know you a bit, what you're doing now as a life coach, I think it rings true, and it's very fitting for what it is that what it is you do and you're bringing and you're passionate about. So I wanted to pick up on what it is that you were telling your son, and I think this is a fitting segue into it. I know you have four kids. I want to say 3 boys and a girl, right?
Yeah.
3 boys and a girl, and I think you have two boys who are men now, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, you're a father, man, and I'm not a father myself. I actually just had lunch with my dad, and we had a really good conversation. I told him that we would be on today live, and man, I really, the older I get, I turn 30 next Saturday. I respect my father more and more as a man and what it is that he had to sacrifice in the NBA in order to get to where he got to, provide for our family in the way that he has, and show up as a dad, show up as a husband. And I know that's something that you value as well in terms of the way you carry yourself. So I love to segue into the point that you were making before.
No, I appreciate it, man. I love your dad. It's my guy. Listen, this is everybody knows how serious I am about my weekly runs. So this is around that time right now. Paul Pierce and Will Conroy had called me about where I'm at because we usually start at 11. But I said, listen, I got Trey Mourning. I got to do the podcast with Trey, so I'm I can't do it right now, which killed me. But I got to get in where I can fit in when it comes to the runs.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah, no. So just as we were speaking about this, man, and just you asked me the question of what point do I want to get across? What do I actually want to people to leave here with, basically. And it's just conversation, right? And if you think of a tree have a certain amount of whether it's fruits or whatever on there, but it has a lot of branches. So we are the tree, and in being the tree, whatever branch you feel like hanging on, right? Whatever that conversation is with inside the tree, so be it, right? I think my point in life now is to be able to serve, and to help, right?
Yeah.
This is a no judgment thing, right?
100%.
People get a lot of things confused. There's, in this society at the moment, and it will change, but right at the moment we're very sensitive because of social media and exposed a lot of who our character is, and that should be a good thing because
who is we when you say we?
We as a society.
Okay.
Right, we're exposed a lot in what we do, right? If you're really angry, you get on the internet really quick, male or female, right? And then you're like, holy crap, I can't believe I did that.
Yeah.
You can't take it back. Somebody already saved it.
Yeah.
So understanding those type of things, or you're infatuated with your mate and there's 1,000 pictures, right, to show validation. Some things that you love a lot, you keep to yourself, right?
Yeah.
There's so many different things that we can learn from in these different messages. So, for me, what I was telling my son earlier today is the gift of life, of just consciousness in general, is so important. And him being a basketball player, it's a gift. It's a gift to be 6'3" at 15, 187 pounds, to be athletic, to be a good looking kid, to be smart, to have a father, to have a mother that's conscious. That's all gift. You
Yeah.
can be from anywhere else and not have that,
Yeah.
right? So because you have it, you don't appreciate it. As not saying him, but just us in general, we don't appreciate what we do have at the moment
Yeah.
so much. And my job is to help my son understand. The youngest one is what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
Understand, because the older ones understand now, but the younger one understand that what's going on in your life right now is definitely a gift,
Yeah.
whether it's good or bad for you. It's actually the universe saying, "I love you so much." Universe to me, it's like father time. It's like your dad. It's
Yeah.
like, I'm telling you this, and if you listen, great. But if you don't listen, still really good, because you're going to learn. It's going to show
Exactly.
you why you
Exactly.
didn't do what you're supposed to do,
Yep.
right? So you were explaining to me the other day, it's like, when you were younger, it's hard to understand dad until you become a man that can be or is a dad,
Yeah.
right? Now it's like,
Exactly.
oh, wow, I have to put my big boy pants on, and the decisions I make, it's got to be like this. And it's not just for me, and it's for, it's not the first game we play, it's for the 20th game, or it's for the playoffs. It's not just this game. So I gotta marinate this pot that I'm
Yeah.
cooking, right? So there's one thing also too, is with a lot of, when I'm playing ball, where a lot of guys don't understand blame and acknowledgement are totally different.
Explain that.
So, and women are like this too with accountability. But see, blaming a person is either it's an accusation of, right, because they may have not done it, you're just making this up, whatever it is. That's blaming.
Mm-hmm.
But if I saw you do this and you've done this, that's just acknowledging what you did.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If I didn't see you do it and I'm just all of a sudden I'm blaming you for something, the spilt milk, right? That's blaming. All right, I didn't do it, right? But
Yeah.
if I acknowledge, but my acknowledgement is, yo, you spilled this milk, clean it up. Well, they was in my way. I don't care what they were. This is
Yeah.
what you did, and I'm giving you this very soft, simple example of life. People get confused when you are blaming them and when you acknowledge something that you already done. That's accountability. You've already done it,
Yeah.
right? Blaming you is mean that I didn't see you even do it, but I'm blaming you. Whether you did it or not, I didn't see it, but I'm blaming.
Yeah.
It's unfair.
Yeah.
Acknowledging is something that you did. I saw you do, and all I want you to do is become better at this.
Yeah.
So you take that as criticism. No, it's constructive. It's different.
Yeah.
You understand? So whether it's in a relationship, or whether it's in a relationship, is basketball, it's sports, it's life, it's whatever. But whether it's in an actually intimate relationship, it's a regular relationship, or it's in a sports environment. When I'm not the type to blame. I'm the type to help you acknowledge the things that we do, so we can become better as a person, right? Because when you are a little baby, you come into this world pure, and you come in to suffer. Everybody's suffering.
Yeah.
When you are a baby till you become a teenager, you're learning things. You're suffering at that time. Now, the word may seem harsh, but it's what it is,
Yeah.
right? Because I got to learn how to walk. I got to learn how to talk. I got to learn to get friends. I got to learn this. I got to learn all those things. That's uncomfortable. Then when you become a teenager, right? My hormones, my this, my that, you're suffering. Whether do they like me? Am I accepted? Am I this? Then it's going to start again. So, what I try my best, even at 50 years old, what I try my best to do is to understand that a part of me is scared, and that's okay because it's human. And the other part is waiting to become again. What does that mean? As a baby, you're scared to walk, right? You can't use your words. When you start to walk in friends in the playground, you don't want to go over to them, so you might pull dad or you pull mom and you go with me kind of thing. That's the same thing when you learn new things when you get older. You're still that little baby,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it's okay to be that scared individual in your development. And the other part of you is waiting to become again. Become great, because you're great. You are. It's so much to you while you're on earth that you may not have enough time. You may not have enough time. So we have to really appreciate the moments and really embrace the feelings.
I, I, I
Is
I think that, and not to cut you off, I think that's something that I want to piggyback on and just kind of segue into this point that I think is going to ring true for a lot of parents. I'm not a parent myself, as I said. However, I work with the families of elite youth basketball players. We've worked with over 50 families in the past year, or excuse me, 2 years. And one of the things that parents seem to struggle with a whole lot is getting a message over to their player. Parents see things differently because they have more life experience. And I know I picked up my bumps and bruises, and you probably have as well. I know you have as well. Just we're human beings, right? The things mom and dad or big bro or the OG, the vet in the locker room told us to look out for. And we still bump our head because we have to learn that life lesson. I think there's two parts to this question. One, from a parent's perspective, and not just any parent. You're in a unique situation because you are a parent who has lived the NBA life. You have been a very successful player, had a 10-year career yourself, and had a very successful career. You're able to coach and teach a player, specifically your son, about things that are coming in a way that other parents can't. So first, how would you do that knowing what you know now? And I know you kind of talked about it right now with your son. But secondly, why do you think some players in the NBA even don't get it? It doesn't click for them. They are a great player. They're the rookie in the locker room. They're a young guy, and they get handed not necessarily the keys of the franchise, but they start getting handed some responsibility, and the world kind of opens up to them in terms of what's possible. Why do you think some of these guys that, we're not going to name any names unless you care to, but why do you think some of these guys, they don't get it until it's too late?
Yeah. Okay. So the first, you talked about parents and life experience.
Correct.
A lot of parents, this is my opinion. Okay. So I don't want people to come after me crazy, but you can only teach what you are. You can't teach what you're not. So if you're impatient, if you are quick-tempered, if you are a selfish person, it's hard to teach selflessness if you're selfish. It's hard to teach patience if you're impatient. It's hard to teach things that you're not, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know that parent, but it seems as though a lot of parents live vicariously through the child on the outside, but you are actually parenting the inner child, right? Because when you were younger, you may not have been as hardworking or this or that, or you were hard-headed, you were all these different things. So now that you have your child, you're not actually parenting the child, because listen to this very closely, Trey. Your child is a mimic. They're only mimicking what you showed them and told them in life. So when you're yelling or parenting or this or that to them, they've only seen what you've shown, basically, or the environment you've put them in to become that. So your frustration is something that's unresolved of something you didn't correct from your own youth and your own journey. So now this child is actually your messenger. This is your teacher to help you become better as a person, father, mother, whoever you want to become. That's your actual teacher. That's why the universe loves you so much. When they gave you this child, as hard as it may have been or whatever it is, they're actually teaching you what you lack. So that's the first thing with parents. And this is the reason why parents are how they are, opposed to really diving in and dissecting, how can I be my best version? Do I love me? A lot of them don't really know that. They think their love,
That's true.
and a lot of people equate their love with selfishness.
Yep.
So they consume themselves, and then they paint their little picture around anything that's just for them. So then you can't be upset with the thing you've created that it shows characteristics or the mate you picked to have with the person, and it shows their characteristics inside it, because it's still your choice, right?
There's something that we say in the program all the time. It's that the best gift that a parent can give their player is a better version of themselves. Hands down. It's not
It's a
more
healed
trainers.
adult. It's a healed adult. That's the
Exactly.
best
A
thing you
healed
give is a
adult.
healed.
A healed adult. A healed adult. And I've been in programs before where, I learned about different maturity stages. And there's this one program called There Is Hope. It was through a ministry down here in South Florida called Canaan Church. And there's 5 different stages to the maturity process they taught. You have the infant stage, you have the children stage, you have the teenager stage, infant, children, infant, child, adult, you have the parent, and then you have the elder. Infants, what they're learning from 0 to 3 is just to receive unconditional love, right? You cry, you get changed, you yell, you shout, you scream, and you get somebody to help you, right? From there, you move on to the child stage, and as a child, you're learning how to start taking care of yourself, right? Wash the dog, brush your teeth, responsibilities, lay your clothes out for school, all these different things. At the adult stage, it's time for you to start taking care of yourself and other people, right? This is when you can have a healthy relationship with a partner and start looking towards marriage and things like that. And obviously, when you become a parent. You're taking care of them, yourself, and other people. Or first yourself, then them, and then other people. And when you're an elder, you could be that, mentor, because your kids are grown now and you're able to look after other people. Oftentimes, when there's a wound in the infant stage or in the child stage, they grow up to be either an adult child or an adult baby, right? Adult babies don't take a lot of people, man. You see the parents sitting on the sidelines yelling and screaming and getting in fights and all that stuff because they can't control their own temper, right? And they wonder why their player goes out on the court and they wonder why their player goes out on the court and they can't handle their own emotions. There's a lot of different things there. And if they grow up and they've never matured in that child stage, they never learn to take responsibility for what is theirs, right? Or they're constantly seeking relationships. You see this in a lot of, you see this with a lot of, I'd say, professional athletes. You never got that affirmation. You're constantly seeking that affirmation from that chick or that coach or that performance or whatever it is. And you don't feel that, like you said, that self-love, that unconditional love. I believe it comes from a higher power and understanding that God loves us more than, we can even imagine. But man, it really has to do with having a healed self as a parent so that you can go on and be the best possible version for your player. But
For sure. And there's this is all goes back to psychology, right? Goes behavioral analysis work, right? So there's the significance, right? There's approval, there's acceptance, there's intelligence, there's pity, and then there's power. Yeah. All those different things we all absorb, and you can tell if that person actually, that kid or that parent, you can tell if they're like either fiending for it or want it or whatever it is. So your second, actually was your first question was, how would you do it? How would I coach them? How would I parent them?
Yep. The first question was, how would you handle the situation with a parent, right? Or how would you handle the situation as a parent? And you said that you have to be a healed version of yourself as an adult, right?
Yeah.
And then the second one is, let's look at NBA locker rooms now, because you've been the vet in NBA locker rooms. Yeah. How does that process maybe change? Obviously, you're not dealing with a child, but in some ways you are dealing with a child, because not everybody who's in an NBA locker room is a grown man.
Facts.
Maybe biologically, but in terms of the decisions they make and the way they carry themselves, they need somebody to, wipe them, for lack of a better word.
Facts. Yeah. So, why do you think that some players don't get it, basically?
Exactly.
I think because, how they do prepare Kobe beef? in Japan. Like it's incredible, right? There's classical music. They
Hmm.
massage the cows.
Hmm.
They're in amazing places, right? The cow don't want to leave.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there is no growth, right? Or the metaphor with the frog, right? The frog is in cold water, and then obviously the water starts the room temperature of the water changes, and then before you know it, it starts to boil, and the frog's not it can't get out now. It's paralyzed with inside the water, right? Because of whatever comfort it has. And I think that's the same thing when it comes to like individuals. I mean, listen, of course you want to depend. I've never been married, but of course you want to. Of course I had relationships, but of course you want to depend on your mate. You know, but at one point in time, do you have to um, take responsibility of oneself, or just knowing every single thing in the household? I'm a single dad. So I have to know from bills to gardening to cooking to kids' schedules, and I have to know everything, right? Um, uh, and I'm not saying that to pat my back. It's just that's what a part of life is. Because guess what? If you have a friend, well, not a friend, but a person that I know that lives in the DC area, and her husband had passed away from a drunk driver,
Hmm.
and this is about what 11 years ago. I don't long time ago. Maybe I'm misquoting it, whatever way. But my point is, at one point in time, they were a team. He handled this, she handled that. Well, when he passed, loved the hell out of each other. She has to handle everything now. Now, there's circumstances like that. Then there's circumstances where it's divorce, circumstances where it's separation, circumstances where something happens, somebody's off fighting wars. I don't know. But you still have to, let's go to basketball. You still, and we're still in the same conversation and category. You still have to, just because I'm a point guard, that don't mean I don't never rebound. That
Yeah.
don't mean I don't go for a block shot,
Yeah.
right? Like I have to know and do everything. Just because I'm the point guard or I'm the center doesn't mean I don't know everybody's position and where they should be at,
Exactly. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So I think for players, they get so comfortable and they don't really work on self and understand that it's a very the window is so small of all this babying that don't get too comfortable with that part. This is the time that you learn how to grow, right? While they're helping you not think of other things, right? Like
Yeah.
if I have someone making sure the dinners when I get home and making sure the kids' bath is well, my kids are bigger, older now, but the bath is ready and this and the homework is done, this, that, whatever, I can strengthen myself up to do more for us.
Hmm.
So if we can't as individuals understand that this help don't mean relax, doesn't mean become dormant. Doesn't mean become the cow that's going to be a Kobe beef. That don't mean become the frog. That means strengthen up your weaknesses as a person. So that now, what they do to Russell Westbrook, there's no tribute, no Chris Paul, like, and they were Hall of Famers,
Yeah. First ballot. Easy.
right? So it is no, like they did Kobe, and that's my favorite, best, love him to death, close friend person. Only a certain amount of people can have that.
Yeah.
But there still should have been a better exit for Russell Westbrook and Chris Paul. Certain guys that gave so much to the NBA.
Talk
You
about that.
understand?
Talk about that too, because it's a business at the end of the day. And one thing I pride myself on is teaching the families that we work with in our community that basketball is a business from day one, right? Yes, there is a purity of the game. And I talked to Darius Miles last week in terms of him wishing within his career he didn't let the politics take away his love from the game, right? That's extremely important. That being said, I'm a big believer that the sooner you understand it is a business, the more you can make the more you can make the sooner you can make the most out of the business, right? When did it really click for you? Because were you always this mature, or what moment was it? Was it, maybe your career ending? I saw you talk about your mental health, and that was actually what prompted me to reach out. I saw your video when you talked about having that anxiety attack when you had you left New York and they told you had to retire because of a heart issue. You obviously went back and played in the Big Three and still continue to play basketball today, and you're doing well, thank God. I just know that there are some defining moments in life that mature us. Was that maybe a moment for you?
This is a long one. This is interesting. This is interesting that you speak this, because there's so many things, and everything I speak about, Trey, I told this before, it's metaphoric.
Mm-hmm.
But if you are not conscious and understanding that everything in life is a gift, there's billions and billions of cells that did not penetrate through to become alive, just to even have a shitty life. You know what I mean? And having a shitty life doesn't mean the next one won't be better, as long as you learn from it from before. So, okay, don't want to get too deep with that, but Darius became more mature because he understood the things that he could have been better at.
Yeah.
Antoine Walker became more mature because he understood the things that he could have became better at when he was younger. They're all cheat codes. We are all cheat codes. When you're doing something really good or doing something really bad, the other individuals are watching it. They should be watching it.
Yeah.
I think they are watching it. God gives everybody on earth a good day, a great day, a bad day, an okay day. He gives everybody that.
Yeah.
He gives everybody sad, anxiety, fear, happiness. He gives everybody it.
Yeah.
So what do you think? So you're saying that whatever it is that bad happens, it's just you the only one that felt it? Like, if you think like that, then life will be really hard for you.
Yeah. I ended up saying to the parents last night that I was on a call with that in life, in terms of our mindset and our mentality, it's important for us to realize that, like you said, life happens for us. It doesn't just happen to us, right? Mm-hmm. And we're all going through stuff at the end of the day. It's beautiful to be able to feel the emotions. I think one thing, when I see your content, and even in this conversation, the word that comes to mind when I think of you is responsible, right? You seem like you look at your day, you look at what's in front of you, whether it be great or bad or a mix of in between, and you seize the day and you realize, okay, this is the day I have. I'm going to make it. That's all I have, right? I have today. I don't have tomorrow. I don't have yesterday. I'm going to make the most of this moment. I think it's just a powerful mindset that, parents and players can adopt to be able to start crushing it in life, man, because I think that there's this one story that I want to tell. So I used to have a strength coach. His name was Dodd Romero. And he's a strength coach for, he was a strength coach for A-Rod, Alex Rodriguez, when he was in his prime. And A-Rod was one of the first people to work with a mindset coach. I don't know if I think this mindset coach at the time was Ed Milet. I don't know if you heard of Ed Milet.
I know Ed. I know Ed.
And Dodd would, get lifts in with A-Rod. They'd travel together on the road. And before games, A-Rod would meet with his mindset coach, and they'd go over this saying. And the saying would be, I'm A-Rod and I hit the ball solid. It's an affirmation. I'm A-Rod and I hit the ball solid. It wasn't, I'm A-Rod and I hit grand slams. I'm A-Rod and I'm the MVP. I'm A-Rod and I bat 350. It was, I'm A-Rod and I hit the ball solid. When you hit the ball solid, you give yourself a chance to get a single, to get a double, to get a triple, to get a home run, a grand slam. The situation just needs to develop in a certain way around you, and you have no control over that. All you can do is show up and hit the ball solid. Put the reps in. Right.
Well, the reason why, right? And then this is a part of your analogy and your metaphor, right? I'm A-Rod and I hit the ball solid. Well, how many pitches are there? Right? So I'm not saying I hit a hard ball, a curve ball, or a fork, or a slider. I'm saying I hit the ball solid. Whatever comes to me, I'm hitting it solid. Mm-hmm. Every day that comes, I'm going to be happy. I'm going to be grateful because I have another one.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not saying next week. I don't know if I'm here. But I know right now, I know when my daughter's around me and my son's around me, there's kisses and hugs every single day.
Yeah.
I don't trade off. Right? Now, I'm not telling any other man why they trade off and but it's just what my thing is. I only have. I'm gonna live till I'm 100 and something years old, but I have one day at a time. You have one game at a time when the NBA season starts.
Hmm.
You're going to play 82, but you got one game at a time.
Yeah.
That's all you got. You got one quarter at a time. You got 1 minute of that one quarter. That's all you have,
Yeah.
right? So the variations of the fork and speed is different from the slider. The slider is different from the fast. The fast is different from the drop. All of them are different. But as long as I hit it solid, it doesn't matter what the day gives me. If it's sunny, if it's shining, if it's whatever, doesn't matter. If it's a whole bunch of red lights, it don't matter. Doesn't matter, right? That's how I take life.
Just to say this in another metaphor, how do you, like you said, there's 82 games in an NBA season, right? And I go to a bunch of Heat games, and I grew up around the organization, and it pissed me off sometimes going to games last season, and I saw, a lack of effort in some games when it's like, okay, I don't know if they're back to backs. No, there are back to backs, but like you got back to backs and you're traveling in this time zone and that time zone. You get on the court and you're like, oh shoot, like you could just tell players are flat, right? And I know you've been on the away team coming to Miami, and I know some guys are flat after traveling to Miami over the weekend, and they play that game the next day for obvious reasons. But how do you learn to take the first game of the season seriously? How do you learn to take game 41 seriously, that back-to-back where you're tired? Now there's no 3 games in 4 nights, but back then there were 3 games in 4 nights, or 3 and 5 or whatever it was. And you had to find something in the tank in order to show up. I think a lot of times, I'll point to this example. The year, and it's so funny because I actually have a scouting report on my desk. I was in storage, and I found this. This is the scouting report from the Heat Knicks series in 1999 in the playoffs. And my dad would tell me this story. The last game of the regular season in 1999, the Heat were the number 1 seed. That was a shortened season, right? Because of the lockout. The Heat were the 1 seed, and the last game of the season was against the Knicks. If they beat the Knicks were out of the playoffs. They were up 20, I want to say, at half or maybe at the end of the third going into the fourth. They blow the lead. The Knicks make the playoffs, and the Knicks end up beating them in the first round and go all the way to the finals. I hear that story.
I remember that.
Yeah, I hear that story, and I'm like, oh shit, like I can't take a game off. I need to kill the opponent in front of me. I need to hit the ball solid and make sure that I get the most out of this, because this is all that I have. Mm-hmm. You never know what's going to happen. You point to, I never like it when, you see the comments online or people giving their anecdotes and their takes on the end of the game. You look at the Spurs Knicks series and you point to a guy like De'Aaron Fox, who goes in and has an opportunity to dribble the ball out, but he goes in and lays it in. OG gets the block. They come down. They went on a tip-in. That is one play out of 80 to 100 possessions that the Spurs had that night when they could have done something different. I guarantee you there was maybe, I don't know, they went 1 for 2 on the free throw line one time, and if that player hit a free throw, things would have been different. But you can also look at it this way. Maybe if that player hit the free throw, the game after that would be completely different, because the mindset and the reads and all the things that the team and the players and the coaches are calling would be different as well. I guess, I'm saying a whole lot. I don't know if there's a question in this, but I'd love to just get your thoughts on this. Like, how do you learn to take it seriously? Was it something that it was a wake-up call for you? Like, how'd you learn to take it seriously?
Yeah, I don't know the exact moment, because there's still things that I may say I'll do it later or this, that, whatever, right? I think that's just a human procrastinating.
Yeah.
It's when young people do things, or people who've never done something before, whether it's stupid or whatever it is, I call it, when they're young, I call it age appropriate. And then I started to think about it. Even if you're 40, if you've never done something before and you do it right now, then it's still age appropriate, meaning, or it's experience appropriate because you've never done it before. So of course you're going to look a certain way when it happens. So when things happen, they're supposed to happen, and that's where wisdom comes in because the scars of it and you learn from them. But there's a lot of people that God, universe, he like I said before, he gives everybody sad, happy, everything. He gives you the experiences, and you choose to ignore them. So when y'all were one seed, and it was Tim Hardaway at the point, and Zoe, and then you had all the other guys. I don't know what those guys did the night before. Where before that, were there opportunities where you weren't disciplined the night before? And I'm not saying with women, but just out or on your legs or didn't lift or didn't shoot, didn't whatever. There were probably opportunities like that before and you failed.
Yeah.
So you said to yourself, I will never do this again. But you did it again.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's human to do. But it also is a part of us that is the responsibility. I guess that's the key word for us, right? Responsibility and accountability of I need to shorten these flaws because I have to control you can't control the uncontrollables. To control the controllables, I have to control what I'm doing right. Your dad lifts, he gets his shots up, he did ice and this. I've done that for me. But I got 12, 13 other guys. Then I got the coaches. Mm-hmm. So maybe a bad coaching this, and maybe it's so many variations.
Yeah.
So even if you've done your best of your best, sometimes you still lose, and that's okay. My father said something really powerful. My stepfather, he was my oracle, and I was blessed to have 4 parents. He said something very powerful, and this is more universal. The same way you accept my yeses, you need to accept my nos. So just because you did everything perfect that day, that don't mean you're supposed to win.
Yeah.
It means you're supposed to learn.
Yeah. There's a quote. I think it's a Pat Riley quote. And it's that hard work doesn't guarantee you anything, but without it, you don't stand a chance. Mm-hmm. Right. And I think part of being a great athlete and part of being great at anything is being okay with just showing up and getting 1% better.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. I think another thing is longevity, and that comes to mind as well. And that's a big part of my life. And my dad playing 16 years in the career and 16 years in the league, and you played 10. And I think your career is very similar to my dad's in the sense that it ended in some ways because of health issues, and not even a torn ACL or something like that.
And mine was a misdiagnosis.
It was mixed. Wow. So do you feel like it was taken from you at all?
I do, but it was given to me too. Right. So I practice more so, and I'm gonna write this book. It's called Purpose Before Ego, and that's my title of everything. So if anybody takes it, I've told you this is my thing. I made this up. Purpose before ego. To get to where you want to get to, Trey, your ego has to be at the highest. But then also too is the purpose has to be able to control the ego. See, the purpose is more of an introvert. The ego is more of an extrovert. So the ego has to get out there because there's so many negative things saying that I can't do something. So once it's out there, now the purpose got to pull them back in and say, okay, what's our purpose now? Now that you're here, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people like to get to the destination. They don't know what to do when they get there.
Yeah.
You get all the way to the NBA, and then all of a sudden, you don't know what to do. Well, you got more work. It's harder now to stay, right?
Yeah.
So the ego is they took this from me. The purpose is you gave me something, a platform that I can live a long time and I can be able to do X, Y, and Z to help so many people. Right?
Yeah.
So for a couple of months, I'm pissed off because my ego's involved.
Yeah.
Right? Because I didn't tell people that I was contemplating the year before, like, should I do this? Should I keep playing this? I'm averaging like 40 minutes a game. I'm tired, man. I'm just that whatever. And I probably just needed a break from people. And I didn't take a break from people.
How do you get that as an athlete though? Because
You, you
I even think as well, if you are having a successful postseason, you look at this, like the team, people don't necessarily think about this. Like, I guess the average fan or families and people who aren't in that world, if you make it to the finals, you have a shorter summer.
yeah, you do.
You have a shorter recovery time. It's
You
really
do.
tough to,
You only have July and August.
you only have July and
If
August.
that. You have
And
July and half of August because September is back.
yeah. And you don't want to, I think rest, you got to figure out how to rest because I think within the world that, both you and I grew up in and became men in a lot of ways, it's maybe a grind culture in some ways.
Yes, it is. Yes,
It's
it is. Yes,
absolutely a
it is.
grind culture, but you look at it from the perspective, and I think a lot of guys maybe look at it from the perspective of like, okay, I'm going to grind for so long so that I can have a better future, but it's not guaranteed that you'll have a better future if you grind.
Right. So what I would say to that, and this is for everything. It's for you being young with no kids at the moment. This is for you when you were a little boy. This is for when you get an older man and you be blessed to have a nice, amazing family. For your father, for your mother, for everyone. No one taught us boundaries as a baby. Your mother tell you to do this. Your father tell you to do this. Your aunt, uncle, grandma, and grandpa tell you to do this. The teachers tell you to do this. You got to go by the laws of the police and the government. Everybody's always telling you what to do. So you don't really know who you are yet. But then you go through life, grade school, teachers telling you what to do. Mom, dad telling you what to do. Everybody's telling you what to do. They're not saying it's bad. But where do you have boundaries at? Don't close my door. This, that, whatever. You're learning all how to be controlled, not to control.
Yeah.
So then when you start getting older, you date girls, and the girls have no boundaries. You have no boundaries. Now the girl's controlling you. You have no boundaries, right? You don't want her to leave because you have this codependency, right? Which a lot of us do from a very young age. So then all of a sudden you let her get away with certain things. She lets you get away with certain things. All of a sudden now there's a miscommunication energetically
Yeah.
because of no boundaries,
Yeah. And I
right?
think,
So now all of a sudden, if I got to go lift, or if I got to go shoot extra, or if I got to say I'm not touching the phone and I'm just going to stay with my family for this next 30 days because my wife understands this and this, that, whatever, or my girlfriend understands this and my child, I'm going to do this, that, whatever, and I got to spend time with my dog. If I had no girlfriend and I had this, that, whatever, or my cat, there's no boundaries. When do we learn boundaries? That's what I try to help people understand. The more you can understand your boundaries, the better life will become for you.
amen. I agree. There's a book, we have a reading list in the community, and one of the books on the reading list is called Boundaries. It's by a doctor named Henry Cloud and another one named John Townsend. Book absolutely changed my life. I was in tears reading it just because I didn't know. And I think a lot of times we can even point to this. I think within the black community, I think it's fair to say sometimes it maybe comes off as attitude if we say, I'm not doing
Yes.
that. Or especially with
Yes.
parents, it's like, no, this is mine. And I think mine, what is taught in the book, mine isn't necessarily a bad word. Mine teaches ownership, right?
Right.
If I'm like, as an adult, if I'm like, mine, this is my time. This is my time to get to sleep. This
Yes.
is, you look at it
Yes.
as a professional athlete as well. You got to be able to say, hey, fellas, y'all go out and have a good time. I'm going to go and get some rest. I'm going to get my treatment. I'm
Yes.
going to get my shots up
Yes.
and do what I need to do. And I think
Boundary.
there's boundaries. And I think one of the stories that comes to mind, and I think a player who had really good boundaries, and you said he was
Kobe.
a very close friend of yours,
Kobe.
Kobe. He had
Kobe.
very good boundaries. Tell me some of what is it you learned from Kobe in terms of being responsible?
Phew. I mean, so many different things, but it's a gift. One, right? That you get to do these things, and able to do them, there's a responsibility that comes with it, right? Because if Trey gives me the first month 17 and 10, whether it's fair or not, that's what I'm expecting.
Yeah,
That's what it is.
yeah,
Right. And if you got, I just seen your father smile. That's so crazy. Wow. That's crazy, dude. Wow. That's crazy. So whether Trey is okay with it or not, you walked outside. I tell my kids all the time, you in your room, you got all the control in the world. As soon as you walk outside, only control you got is your attitude. The car can crash, this can happen, the light can be red, this and that. All things can happen. Only thing you got is your attitude. So don't get mad at the person or the people or the fan base that you prayed for. Now all of a sudden you're giving me 17 and 10. That's what they want. So work your butt off, and the pendulum will swing more towards your way if you keep the responsibility of being your best. And that's what Kobe's like, bro, you're going to have bad games. That's okay. But if you have bad games because you didn't work hard, that's not okay. You're going to have bad days as a good dad or a good mom. But if you don't try to improve every single day and make sure your kids know every single day that you love them and you kiss them, you hug them, if you're fortunate enough to be around them every single like I am, if you don't connect with your children or learn who they are, my daughter loves K-pop and, makeup and, drawing and all these different things. That's not my thing, but it's her thing. So because it's her thing, it's my thing. My son loves this, and it's not my thing. Because it's his thing, it's his. My oldest son does all the art and the fashion and all that. And I'm into fashion, but not their fashion. Their fashion's a little weird. But
clothes a little too tight.
Right, you feel me? And it's a little too weird. So, but then I still embrace it. Right? So for me, my responsibility, the responsibility is to be for boom, 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 all of them. Yeah. All be that speed up. That's the for me. That's just how I don't know.
I think it goes back to what I was saying before. You're an adult, right? You're a healthy adult. Like you're able to take care of yourself. I mean, I think we always need other people, but you're not a person who needs that validation in order to be able to go out and do your thing.
No.
And I think basketball, and you would agree to this as well, basketball is a mirror for life. And something that we said when we were on the phone the other day, I was like, Cuttino, I think that who you are on the court is who you are off the court.
Yes.
For you as a player and what it is you've seen within what I'd love for you to do is I want you to put people on game, and I want you to shine a light. I'm not asking you to name names. I would never ask you to do that. But you've been in plenty of locker rooms, and I think from the outside perspective, there are players who get praise because they're performing. I'll say this. I think it's the perfect example. One thing that I don't do is I don't gamble, right? I don't gamble on sports. The last time I actually bet on sports was at halftime of the New England Patriots Atlanta Falcons Super Bowl. I bet that the Patriots would come back and win, and I won. I didn't even take my friend's money because I felt bad, and I didn't. It wasn't that deep to me. It was like $50 we bet in college. But one of the reasons I don't bet, and I see so many people on the outside, I was like, oh, like this is a no-brainer. He's gonna have 20 points and this and this and this. I'm like, you never know what's going on inside the locker room. Mm-hmm. Like from a fan's perspective, you have no idea the night this person had. You have no idea this person's personal problems. He may be going through a divorce and doesn't have custody of his kids and all this other stuff. You don't know what the coach is doing. You don't know the dynamics between the coach and the players and how practice was and shoot around and team that you never know what's going on. I'd love for you to speak to the fan or the parent or the player who is looking up to, I even think about this. I look up to the fellas on the wall behind me. Obviously Kobe, God rest his soul, and Mike is the GOAT for me. These are guys I look up to. And I also know that they're human beings. Why do you believe that some people will constantly look at, I think about it this way from an athlete standpoint. Let's say these guys are still playing and I was working my way up. There's a potential that even though I look up to these guys, I'm going to play them and face them one day, and I have to go out there and execute. I have to go out there and kill. How do you develop that type of mentality and vision towards a game?
I think respect. I think that's very simple. If you respect the game, okay, the history of the game, then you'll know what is given you. right? It's kind of like our ancestors. Um, I mean, you can name all of them. WB,
Maybe
Frederick
the boys, yeah.
Douglass, Boy, King, X,
Clark,
Malcolm,
all of them, yeah.
everybody. Well, if you can understand it and you understand what they were doing, whatever you're doing, compete, do it to your best, fight. So it's not really this long drawn out kind of thing. I think just respecting whatever it is. If you're going to be a doctor, if you're going to be a baseball player, study, you know, Satchel Paige to, King Griffey, senior, junior to anybody and everybody, right? So Babe Ruth, everybody. You respect the game by giving the game of whether it's life or that particular sport, just really understanding what it took to get even to where you are at. And then once you can really understand that, Kobe used to say when we were younger, like competing, if you compete really hard against me, I respect you more. That's why I'm in this book,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because if you just, of course we're friends. We grew up together. But I'm not your friend if I don't challenge you,
Mm-hmm.
right? If you let me skate, I don't like it. You don't love me or like me like you think you do.
You got to be the friend that is willing to point out that you got something in your beard or something in your teeth. Like you have to be
Yeah,
that type of friend.
challenge me, make me better. I want to be better. People that don't want to be better, they don't like that. I want to be better. So if you're going to beat me every single day for a month straight, I'm coming every day. I'm not coming. That's not how we're going to do this. I need to become better at this. And you may not be LeBron James, who I think is incredible. You may not be Michael Jordan, who I think is incredible, my GOAT, right? And I love Kobe so much. You may not be them, but be your best version, right? Don't try to be them, and then when you know you can't be them, then you stop being you. No,
Yeah.
be your best version of whoever you are. And then you can become a Kobe Bryant because Kobe Bryant wasn't Kobe Bryant until he exhausted all of his talent. And
Yeah.
then everybody saw it, right? So I think it's just that respect and the competitive nature of wanting to improve and just the word respect. I mean, if that answers the question, I don't
It
really,
does.
I just think that's what it is.
It does. What are those values that you saw in? Because you had a chance to play against Mike as well. What are those values you saw in Mike in terms of being able to cut out the BS and lock in too?
Well, I think also to be great at anything in life is what I learned from, my rookie year. I was blessed to have Mike around. I was blessed to have Scotty, Charles, and Akeem in the locker room on an everyday basis. So I think one thing and the only thing I saw with especially Scotty is in Dream, actually, too.
I heard his work ethic. I heard a
It's
story
insane.
that he was so accountable. Like you
It's
could you could
insane.
count on Akeem to be a place at a time. He
So
wouldn't let you
disciplined,
down.
so disciplined. But they were older now. And Charles can turn it on and turn it off.
Chuck?
But the key word that you have to really focus on is how they compartmentalize. Compartmentalize. So when I'm on the court, that's all I'm thinking. When I'm in the weight room, that's all I'm thinking. When I'm looking my daughter in the face, that's all I'm paying attention to. When I'm playing against the Lakers, I'm playing against the Lakers. I'm not playing against Milwaukee. My dad also told me this, and you can take this one. Wherever you are, be there.
Yeah.
So I think that's what separates a lot of people and a lot of greats from everybody else is they know how to compartmentalize. If you're on a date, why the fuck? Excuse me.
You
Why do you
good,
have your
yeah.
phone?
Yeah.
Do you know what I
No,
mean?
yeah, you're right.
right? If I'm with my daughter and I haven't seen her all day, bro, my phone is no. I'm looking in her eyes. My son, we're in the gym, and just this morning, an hour and a half, it's just him and I. That's it. I'm paying attention to him. So, did I have this when I was younger? I did. I paid attention to people a lot, but in the last 13 years, because she'll be 13 September 17th, which is actually one of my best friends, Rasheed Wallace's birthday also.
That's awesome.
So we usually FaceTime him every birthday because both of them have the same birthday. I've learned how to pay attention to people even more because that little girl turns into a woman. That woman can be scarred or she can be super loving. And I want this woman to, when she goes and she dates and marries, that she comes with love and no scars, right? So paying attention and compartmentalizing and being there wherever you are is super important to become really good at something. That's just my opinion.
In the Last Dance, I remember the commentator, I forget who it was. I think it was one of the reporters. He was talking about how Mike's superpower was his presence.
Mm-hmm.
You know, yes, he could jump and fly through the air and had all these skills and worked his butt off. When he was there, he was there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he didn't focus on anything else. And I think you need to have, I haven't read the book, but I know some of the terms from the book. It's one of the Tim Grover books. He talks about the cleaner, right? And that's the person who could just go in and absolutely kill. Like their job is to wipe up all the crumbs and make sure nothing is left. And, you know, that's greatness at the end of the day. And I think you have to have an obsession and you have to be committed. I think something that you probably agree to as well is that you have to burn the boats. Like I love that phrase of that story of, you know, I think it was the Trojan warriors when they would go
the
to
Greek
battle,
mythology.
You know, they would go to war, and when they arrived on enemy territory, they would burn their boats.
Yeah. So you can't escape. We got to fight this out.
You have to fight this out. You either go home, you either die here, or you kill them and build boats and go back home. We're here.
Yeah.
We're nowhere else. And I think sometimes in life you have to fully commit. And one piece of advice that I would give the parents and players is I've told this story before. When I was coming up in high school, I was one of the best players in the country. I at the same time didn't fully believe in myself, right? Even though I wasn't one of the top 100, but had offers to the Georgetown, Dukes, the Floridas. And I remember I'm at LeBron's camp in Vegas, and I'm playing ping pong with Devin Booker. And I didn't really know D-Book at the time, and him and I don't know each other super well now, but he's somebody I respect. He asked me while we're playing ping pong, he's like, Trey, do you want to make it to the NBA? I said something then that I would never say now. I was like, man, if it happens, it happens, right? And I look back now and I realize the reason I said is because I was scared to burn the boats. I had the talent, I had the ability, and I'm completely fine with the way my career went, and you know, was in camp with the Rockets and played in different places, and I love my career. I do wish I would have burned the boats because, man, when you fully commit to something, that's when stuff really starts to unlock.
You know what I say to this, Trey? And you could tell parents this, tell kids this. My daughter, if you come to my office, there's vision boards everywhere. And there's affirmations everywhere for the kids, right? The number one thing I would say is scare yourself.
Yeah.
Scare yourself. Right? You've been around your dad where he says the same way you have the energy to raise $1 million, you can raise 10 million. Same reason you have raised 10 million, you can raise 100. You got to scare yourself.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't scare themselves, right? Because you don't believe it. So you got to ask yourself, why don't I believe this? Right? And then that's a deep dive. That's a self-check. That's a shadow, right? I need to figure this one out. Maybe it's not for me, but if it is for me, I need to really scare myself into my ultimate self. Because whatever it is that came into your conscious, that means it's possible. Now, is it this lifetime or the next, but it is possible because it came into your mind.
Yeah.
So now all you got to do is scare yourself. You know, the brain, once you do a lot of things that are stressful, the brain and the body and the HGH starts to grow. You start to become bigger, better, stronger, faster, right? So that stress level is a good thing for you. So when I'm thinking these things, what I got to do is say, nope, not 10 million, 50. Nope, not this. I want to be the best. You know what I said when I was younger, bro? I was in high school. Actually, I was in college.
Mm-hmm.
I said, I want to be so good that when I'm in, this is the corniest thing in the world. It's one of the things I said, that when I'm in restaurants, people bother me while I eat. I'm in Cheesecake Factory, swear to God. Trey, it was the stupidest thing. I'm in Cheesecake Factory now, fast forward, in Houston, at the Galleria Mall. Swarms of people waiting to get my autograph.
I love that.
I went home, and and there was so many people after a while, I was getting irritated. And then my best friends is with me, and he said, yo, didn't you ask for this? And he snapped me right back into place.
Yeah.
Right? Because when you're that struggling actor, when you're that struggling ball player, you're that struggling this, that, whatever, you pray for these things and then they come. What Drake say? I used to pray for time.
No, that's your boy. That's your boy from Philly, Meek.
Yeah. I used to pray for times like this, to rhyme like this.
Yeah.
Right? That's what it is. But you got to scare yourself. You got to ask for the most insane things and then go try to grab it.
Yeah.
I don't care how many times you fall.
And I think this is motivating for me. I just downloaded this book. I think the title of the book is ready, set, aim, or ready, shoot, aim. It's like all out of order. You know, like you're supposed to shoot first, and then as you shoot, okay, now let's readjust and let's aim and figure out the right trajectory that we're going in. And we constantly need to scare ourselves. I think living in that discomfort, you kind of get used to it over time, and you got to keep chasing these challenges. And it's bigger than basketball too. I think, like we said before, the way you do one thing is how you do everything. You know, it's a consistent push towards greatness. I love that story, man. That's great. That's great.
Yeah,
I think in terms of let's say longevity, I know I had brought that up before, and my dad played 16 years, and I saw that firsthand, and it included a lot. It included the chefs, it included the trainers, it included you had to build a whole team and a whole entire system around this. He took me to yoga classes, Pilates classes, all these things. Actually, one of the sponsors of the show is a Pilates studio here in South Florida called Tremble. They have 57 locations all around the world. When you were playing, in order to play a long career, did you do things like Pilates and yoga in order to make sure you're top of your game?
Yeah. I had a Pilates instructor come to the house the night before games. I had a chef. When I was in Houston, my chef was named Charmaine. In LA, my chef, and to this day, she just came over not too long ago. Her name is Sunny. She's Korean. And Charmaine was white. And those were my chefs. As far as body work, I always did that, with the team.
Massages and all that, yeah.
Yeah, all that type of stuff, man. I took care of my body. I was Iron Man. I took care of my body, right? I averaged 39, 40 minutes a game for 11 years, right? So for me, it was responsibility, right? It's just they're paying you to play this game, right? Yeah. So I played hurt, elbow this, something that, but I was always lucky with my knees, right? I was a strong base, and that's probably one of the reasons I got to play so many minutes per game. But blessed to have pretty good legs, and that's probably because I played a lot of different sports growing up. Boxing and football were my key things, and then basketball. Right, basketball was my third one.
When did you make the switch? When did you decide, okay, this is what I'm doing?
Sophomore year in high school.
You saw something?
Yeah, I felt. Not saw. I felt.
What'd you feel?
Uncontrollable love. Uncontrollable love. Like, Rasheed Wallace is playing over here, and Alvin Williams is playing over here, and Kobe's playing over here, and it just I wanted to be a part of it. I just and in Philadelphia back then, the playgrounds was lit up, right? It was like you can walk down the street and it's 25 people playing. Like that camaraderie right there, you can't pay to get that.
Yeah.
It was crazy. It was just it was like a drug. I'm addicted to every day I need to go out there and play and show people that I'm getting better. Right?
How would you do it now in today's world? Because there's not, my dad would tell me the same exact thing. There's one place when our family would vacation, and in this one place we'd have outdoor courts and everybody be on these outdoor courts. But I go up the street, you don't really see it. Courts are empty sometimes, right? It's not my dad's day. It's not your day when people are just out there hooping and getting buckets. How would you do it today?
Oh, I mean, I would do a lot of film today.
It's huge.
I would do a lot of shooting because everything now is 3-pointers. So, I mean, I would, this morning, my son and he messed his wrist up last week. So we got up 300 today until his wrist started to be sore, but he made 100 threes. And usually we because of that 450, 500 range. So it's a lot of reps. And throughout the week, I'm hunting, like usually Tuesday, Thursday we play. And then like on weekends, we usually play Saturday morning and Sunday morning, 5-on-5, like just random, cats. So I literally don't give it an excuse. I literally go and find runs, even if they're not as good. Because it's not I can dominate, but it's not, that's what it is. Mine's is teaching. And then having him start to feel how it feels to miss 5 in a row and you just lost the game goes to 7. Like, how you feel? I cussed him out maybe 4 months ago, I want to say, because it was 6-6, game was 7. And I literally gave him the ball, right, for game, and he gave it to another guy, and we lost the game.
No. Yeah.
So, yeah. So I went crazy. On him. Like, literally in the car. It was bad. Right? So the next 2 weeks later, when we go back, game, he takes it, makes it.
Yeah.
That's how that feel, right? Now, before when I said it, he was like, basically go fuck yourself. Now, in this one, he's like, yo, I feel good. I want some more of that. Yes,
Yeah.
That's what you got to do.
Yeah.
Even if you miss, you got to take that. You don't let anybody else take it, because when they take it and they make it, you don't make it. It's not your turn now.
Yeah, you're not getting it back.
The basketball guys gave it to him.
Yeah.
That's how I look at stuff, right?
Yeah.
So seeking out those games, because there is foul, and they might not be as good, but if they're not as good, work on your weaknesses. But you're still conditioning.
100%.
It's still 9 other people there.
Yeah, that's the best conditioning too. I think, and obviously you've played more minutes than most guys ever will. I still believe to this day that the best conditioning that you could do is actually playing basketball. Yes, you can run the sprints.
All that other stuff don't work.
It doesn't work. I remember this, Cuttino, when I was in camp with the Rockets. I remember first 10 days we had to be in quarantine. I ended up getting cut on day 10. I did individual workouts and all this stuff, and I got cut before I was able to be around the guys. But when I was there, I remember doing some of the workouts and feeling kind of winded. And I remember I got back here and talked to my dad. He's like, you could have run more sprints. You could have done this. And I thought to myself, I'm like, we were in the middle of the pandemic, and like, regardless of how many sprints I'm running, basketball conditioning is completely different.
Totally different.
It's different. You have to play around people. Like, you have to get the time and to slow down the bumps. Another guy I'd love to have on the show is Ray Allen, who I know personally down here in Miami.
My brother, love him. I love him.
My brother. And Ray, were you in the 96 class?
No.
98, was it?
Yeah, I was 98.
98, that's right.
Yeah.
But man, like, I know Ray would do this drill when he was with the Heat, and after practice, he'd do a push-up. He'd do a couple push-ups and then backpedal to the corner and shoot that 3, the one he hit in the 13 finals. And he'd do it to mimic the physicality that you're gonna go through in the 24 seconds of a shot clock. You know, I remember I remember I was a ball boy for the Heat, so I would watch the games really close. But this is when my dad was finishing up his career. And by the way, do you have a hard cut off today? Are you good on time? We can go
I'm
until
okay.
like 4:30. All right, cool. But anyways, I remember with when I was a ball boy, my dad was finishing up his career. They had just won in '06. I was a ball boy in '07 and in '08. He retired in '07. He picked up that knee injury and then retired. But one of the things that I remember is when I was in high school, this was when the Heat were playing the Pacers in the Eastern Conference Finals. And as a graduation gift, one of my dad's buddies, he let me sit courtside with him for one of the games. He got me seats. And I was sitting there watching, and I was really amazed, and I couldn't believe that I finally saw it in high school, now that I had a more developed basketball mind. But I remember seeing this possession, and Ray Allen slow down and push and hold and shove and run around these screens. And this is before Steph Curry was doing his thing. But you see that, and you're like, well, damn, like, there's so much physicality at this level of basketball that people really don't know until you know. You know, this is why I think it's so important to have veterans. This is why it's so important to have these conversations. And the premise of what we do with Inside Coach Kama, you don't know what it is that you don't know. And it's not what you don't know that trips you up. It's what you don't know that you don't know. Because that's what really
Stop right there. Only a certain amount of people can teach the child or the kid that and teach them and help them work through the feeling of that. Tony Allen can't do that, right? Because that's not what Tony do. He don't come off screens.
Yeah.
He may chase people off of screens.
Yeah.
But the feeling that you get when you're tired of someone holding you and chasing you, that feeling is different.
Yep.
You understand?
Yeah.
Tony would teach you all the defensive premise, and then Ray will teach you this off movement like Reggie and this, that, like Rip Hamilton and stuff like that. They can teach you those things because what you really need to be focusing on, the main thing of everything we're talking about, emotional regulation.
Yeah.
Because when you're tired, and if you've never felt it before, you become a coward. But if I felt this before, and I know that my side is like this, and my stomach is like this, and my chest, if I already felt that, then I know how to respond. In a chaotic environment, I call it controlled chaos, right? So it's only a certain amount of people that can teach you those type of, like Ray's not in the post a lot.
No.
So banging in the post a whole bunch of times like a Bonzi Wells is totally different. Bonzi might get tired, running everywhere like Ray, but then Ray might get tired because it's a lot of holding and bumping and legs and thighs and all that. It's a different conditioning.
Completely different.
So it's a heart surgeon is different than a foot doctor.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Both doctors, but they're just different.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So everything is very specific where we have to understand that, and people got to understand that every mom is different, every dad is different, how they were raised and their upbringings and their traumas and their this and that, all of it's different. It's just what it is. But now you got to go to that person that is an expert at that part right there.
Yeah.
Just that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, how many people dribble like Kyrie Irving?
Nobody does.
None.
Nobody ever will.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's more people that run around like Reggie Miller than the people dribble like Kyrie Irving. That is a gift, what Kyrie is.
It's a gift, and I will say this. What we teach the players in our program is that the best thing that you can be is your own favorite player. Mm-hmm. You have to be your own favorite player. There's never going to be another you or me or Kobe or MJ. We'll always be chasing that, okay, I want to be like this person. Kobe is the closest person we will ever see to this man right here, right? Mm-hmm. And even this man wasn't this man, right? Mm-hmm. And it's not even saying better, worse, all that.
Right.
It's pointing to, hey, there's only one me. God only made one me, and there will never be another me. I think differently. Mm-hmm. I remember, it's funny to even say this because it sounds blasphemous, but I remember being in the gym with Ray, and we were working out once, Ray Allen. And we were here in Miami. We were working out. It was me, him, and some other players. I think John Morant, he was there the day before. but we were working and Ray was giving me some pointers with my shot. And I remember trying it and I didn't like the way it felt because I didn't learn to shoot like that. It was just unnatural for me. Now, does it mean that Ray didn't know what he's talking about? Absolutely not. Ray knows exactly what he's talking about. That being said, you look at a guy like Jokic. I don't know what Jokic is shooting from three, but I can imagine it's above the league average, which is 36%. Jokic can shoot like Jokic. Jokic doesn't need to leave the ground and be up there like Ray does, hovering a foot above the ground, jumping all the way off. Or James Harden didn't really jump either. You look at a guy like Dame.
Me neither.
You need it. Like
Steph Curry.
Steph Curry. Like these guys aren't jumping.
Ray's different. Klay Thompson don't even do that.
No. So I remember hearing that from Ray, and I'm like, that just doesn't feel right. Like jumping on my jumps. He's like, it's called a jump shot. I'm like, for you, just for me, that just doesn't float. When did you start to learn your own game?
Ooh, few years into the league.
Really, it took that long?
Yeah. Because you think about it. Why don't rookies have amazing first years, right? Because they don't know their game. If you ask a lot of rookies, what's your go-to? They won't know. You don't know until I can work on it. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So you learn yourself after you're like your third year, second year, third year.
It's funny you say that too, because I remember I played 3 years. My last season was in New Zealand. I averaged 20 and 9 in that league. I can tell you clearly what shots I wanted to go to every single time.
There you go. Your go-to. You're
turn around over my right shoulder, or I'm getting to a hook over my left shoulder as a counter, right? You can't you can't stop both. So you're right. You're right. Like it takes time. I think it's possible to learn it sooner. You look at a guy like Luka Doncic, playing over against grown men in Europe for so long. I think he did understand his game and figured it out. And it's like he studied for a test playing against all these grown men, and then he walked into the NBA with other grown men at the same time. I will say there's a lot of boys in the NBA still, right? Especially within, the first and second year, they just haven't grown into their body.
For sure.
Luka was able to come in and just dominate and stick out above the rest, which was special.
No, for sure. But again, it's very age appropriate for you not to know what you actually can do on a consistent basis until you can do it on a consistent basis.
Yeah.
Right. It's going to take because the first year is a surprise for everybody. Then they're going to adjust and make you do something else. Right. Your second year. Then the second year, when they adjust and make you do that, then they're looking at the percentages statistically. Then your third year, that's when right? Oh, okay.
The scouting report. Yeah.
I got to slow down more. I got to catch and shoot here more. I got to do this more. And then you start to evolve from there.
Yeah. I remember my first game in New Zealand, I think I had 35 and 13. Second game was 33, 37, whatever. And it was another double-double, another 30-point double-double. Third game of the season was like 27 and something. I want to say it was either third game or fourth game. I had 12. And I remember it was an away game. And I called my dad after the game. I'm like, man, did you watch? He's like, yeah, I watched. He's like, you're on the scouting report now. It's like they know you're on the scouting report. Welcome to the club. Like you have to figure it out now and see, okay, now it becomes chess, right? Now it becomes chess. Now what you're talking about in film study, I'm going to do a breakdown as well at 6 p.m. I do another live stream where I break down film. But film study, man, it's so important. And I think guys don't take advantage of that enough.
No.
Man, when you sit down and break down the why and you understand that this is something that we teach in the program as well, there's only 5 pick and roll coverages that you're going to see at all levels of basketball, right? You see the drop, you see a hedge or a show, you see a switch, you see a blitz, and you see an ice if we're on the side, right? And coming off that screen, you're going to make a given read. If this person's being guarded, throw it to this person. If this person's being guarded, throw it to that person. And it eases your mind so much so that when you step on the court, you're just making reads instead of making moves. It's powerful stuff, man. It's powerful stuff. But man, I really, really do appreciate this conversation. There's so many
For
gems, so many
sure.
things that we got
For
to
sure.
discuss today. And man, I would love to know, and I'm going to start doing this, as these shows continue. Is there another guy that you would recommend for this type of conversation? Like, who do you think would come here and just drop a lot of gems and a lot of value? Who's a guy you want to shout out?
Um, I love my peers, but I don't. Rondo,
Rondo, yeah.
I think he's an intellectual. Sean Livingston, um, Iguodala, I think. It depends, right? What kind of, in depth, very. I don't think a lot of guys are there yet, right? Maybe I'm thinking too little, but I don't think they're there yet. To have elongated, very universal, down to earth spiritual conversations. I don't know. I don't, right? It's very surface. So I mean, it seems where you're going in the evolution of this to so it won't dry is that your spiritual journey of being your best generally for
Yeah.
everybody. So maybe they are. Maybe I don't. I just don't know if you. There's not a lot of detailed individuals, right?
You
So
see, it's so funny. You see it in the game too. I think the general
yeah,
fan can understand the wow, this guy jumps really high and all that, but it takes a lot. You point to a guy like Andre Iguodala. I love to sit down with Rondo, all these guys for that matter. But uh,
all three
Iguodala,
of their brains are incredible.
yeah, I think Sean Livingston now, just in terms of what he's doing, I think it's Josh Childress specifically in terms of investing in real estate and some of the things that he's doing there. But you look at a guy like Iguodala, people don't realize that he was a I believe he's like a 20-point guy on those Sixers teams,
Hmm.
right? And then to go be a six, it takes a lot to be able to switch your game.
Hmm.
That's tough. That's one of the
Yeah.
things that most people in the league can't do.
I mean, that's what I mean. I still started, but that's what I did,
Yeah,
right? Like I did when Yao Ming came, I went down to 17. I was at 22,
yeah,
right? And then when I went to Sacramento, it's other guys there. I went to 19, right? Then I'm going to the Clippers, and it's Elton Brand, it's Corey Maggette, and it's Sam Cassell. It's like, okay, 16, 17 is good for this,
yeah,
right? So you have to, if you want to be a part of something, you have to. It's a family. You have to adjust, but
yeah,
everybody also has to adjust too.
yeah, yeah, man. No, it's a lot of adjusting, and like you said, the mindset piece behind that is extremely important.
For
It's
sure.
extremely important stuff, man. So, where can the people find you before we sign off?
Yeah, yeah. So website is CuttinoMobley.com. But I'm on Instagram a lot. So Cuttino's Life, CuttinosLife. I'm not really on TikTok a lot, but I do have my TikTok. It's Cuttino Mobley. I'm start getting on. My daughter tells me to get on. But yeah, that's you can DM me on Instagram, and you know that's where I'm at.
Perfect. Perfect. Well, brother, thank you for your time. I really do
Yes,
appreciate
sir.
this. I don't take this for granted.
Mhm.
I know this is our first time like properly connecting like this. I hope it's not the last. Hope to meet you in person and maybe get
For
some
sure.
runs in.
Yeah.
But man, I really do appreciate it. I give you your flowers, and I know for me, the more I mature in basketball, I realize that this is all shared information, right? And the quotes that I hear my dad say are stuff he learned from John Thompson Jr., God rest his soul, and Pat Riley and his teammates and all that. And I know, you carry a wealth of wisdom too, and it's a reflection of how seriously you take your craft and how you've grown in the game, man. So I appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Yes,
And
sir.
I'll connect with you soon.
All right, brother. Tell your father I said hello.
We'll do. We'll do.
All
Take
right.
care, man.
Yeah.
All right. Alrighty, so we just wrapped up with the episode with Cuttino. Dr. X, 1924, what's going on, brother? Hope you are good. We just wrapped up this episode with Cuttino. I'm going to take a bit of a break, and I'm going to be back on in about like an hour and a half to do a live stream at 6 p.m. We're going to be breaking down more film and answering some questions for you parents out there who have questions about the game, life, what's going on in terms of, AAU politics or travel basketball politics or, EYBL circuit, high school, high level basketball. I'm happy to stay here and break that down. We're going to start doing this on a regular basis on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So I will see you all back here in about an hour and a half, 6 p.m. Take care.